Hi everybody, this is Ernie on Ernie1 on Podbean. Thomas Jefferson has always been one of my really big heroes, and this little quote that I'm going to give you really works for the times we're going through right now. And he said, I prefer a dangerous freedom over a peaceful slavery. And I think that's kind of what we're getting close to now. This shutdown, although in some areas I'm sure it's probably been necessary, but in a lot of places I don't think it has. I think it's a political thing, and most of us already agree with that point. I think when you take a look around and see the power grabs that some of these governors are taking, some of the congressmen, especially a certain Speaker of the House, who really thinks she's the president. I don't know. It depends on what she feels when she's completely sober, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, we've got governors in Michigan with Whitman, who probably thinks she's Joseph Stalin's daughter, I guess. And then you got Ralph Northern in Virginia. You can't get any more communistic than he is, I don't believe. He's a known liar. He's running his state like it was his own, pardon the expression, domain, his own little private country. He's thrown in a bunch of anti-gun laws. I'm sure everything after 5 o'clock at night. But they're getting away with a lot of stuff out there, folks. You saw what they did in Michigan a day or so ago. I fear that that's what it might come to, is peaceful protests by people getting in the street and getting in the politicians' faces and saying, hey, we've had enough of this. I understand it's a dangerous disease, but I also understand that we lose a whole lot more people to drug addiction, to other diseases. And for some reason, this has been the hallmark of the Democratic Party and the liberals and the leftists. I really do believe that the Democrats and the liberals and the left really want to injure and hurt this country. They're very close to destroying absolutely the whole economy that we have. And you can tell by what they say and what you've heard or what you've read. All you have to do is watch CNN for 5 minutes if you can. I can't watch CNN longer than 30 seconds maybe, depending on who's on. But none of these people really want this country to open back up and get back on the road. For a main reason, and the main reason, of course, is they hate Donald Trump. They would do anything to get rid of Donald Trump. And that includes killing the country, turning it into a third world banana republic somewhere, with each governor running his own little principality or whatever the heck they want to call it. But I really do believe, and I think most of you do too, I really believe that they don't want this country to recover. It boils down to being an American or being a communist. I think it's that black and white at this point. If you just listen to what some of these people say and what they're doing right now, it's communism 2.0 or whatever you want to name it. I mean, a lot of us are struggling. A lot of people don't have jobs right now. They don't have an income. They're losing their businesses. But Congress, they're still getting paid. Nancy Pelosi just had I guess a video or whatever it was, a little trip through her domain, her house, which I'm sure is palatial. Something about $24,000 worth of ice cream. I really like ice cream, but I just can't keep on hand in my beautiful, expensive freezers $24,000 worth of ice cream. That would give you a lot of flavors, I'm pretty sure, but not many of us can afford that. Not many of us even want to do that. Talk about hoarding, huh? That's pretty close. But that's what the Dems want, and that's what some of these Dem governors want. And you need to remember all these things. All of us need to remember this when November comes. We've got to get rid of these people. These people are against this country. They're against the, I forget which governor it was, but I believe it was the governor from Michigan that said, we're not going to use the Constitution. As a matter of fact, the best thing we could do to it is to put it in a shredder. That's a pretty strong point from a supposedly American governor in an American state in this really, really great country that we have. But those are the kind of people that are inching their way into our republic, and if we let them go, they're going to destroy this. We need to make a stop, make a stand right now and say, okay, we're not going to do this anymore. We need to let the media know that this hysteria that they preach and this hysteria that they continue to speak of every night, we all know that they're making things probably 10 times worse than it is. To those people who've lost loved ones, it is a tragedy. But some people lost loved ones last year to the flu. Some people lost loved ones last year to heart attacks and stroke, to diabetes, to alcoholism, to a lot of things. And we didn't shut the country down. So I'm not sure why we shut the country down. I know the virus is a little different. I know it spreads. But for the most part, I can't see that much difference with everything else that we've had. There's more hysteria right now than this country had in, I believe it was 1937, 1938, when Orson Welles did his famous radio broadcast of the War of the Worlds. Hell, people were jumping out of windows. People were writing their wills, and it was the end of the world, pardon the expression, but it was the War of the Worlds. It was so realistic to the people who tuned into that show on the radio in those days. They tuned in late, didn't hear the forecast or what was going to happen. They got in the middle of it and thought, oh my God, the world's ending. But the media keeps pushing that. They just keep pushing that agenda. They hate Trump. They hate, I believe, this country. And I also believe that they hate the American people. They're lying constantly. Even Fox News is getting a little shady once in a while. I mean, why would you hire Donna Brazile? Certainly not for the other side, not for the other opinion. The woman is a convicted liar. I don't know what else she is, but I know she's a liar. We know that part. And she's one of those people spreading all this anti-American crap all over the country. So I think that we need to buckle down. I think the American people need to say, okay, we're going to put a stop to this. The way they did the protest in Michigan was wonderful. Yeah, they blocked the streets. They certainly did. But if you remember, they left a lane open for emergency services. That is pretty much the way most conservatives and most Americans, real Americans, that's the way they feel about the country. Oh, we're going to protest, but we're going to leave a lane open just in case. I personally would like to see that happen in a lot of states. I'm in Colorado, and I'm not completely satisfied with my governor. I think he's enjoying this shutdown. I think he's got some honesty involved there, but he enjoys the power. You can see that he does. A lot of these governors do. Newsom in California loves the power that he has. And these people are using it to their advantage to bring this country down. And now we've got our Congress, who is, like I say, out of session right now. They're still getting paid. We aren't. But Dianne Feinstein voted no on the second batch of money that the president was going to put out. A lot of people could have used that. A lot of people are closing their businesses now because that second bill didn't get passed because Nancy Pelosi, with her idea of being queen of the world, said no, and of course all the other Democrats just jumped right in to to agree with Nancy. I don't know what kind of power she's got or why she has it, but she must have a black book somewhere that's got an awful lot of names in it, because she controls a hell of a lot of people. And then you got people like Ocasio-Cortez, who says that Donald Trump and Jesus Christ are much in the same because they're both con men. Wow. I don't know if I'd have the guts to say that outside, standing next to a tree. Anyway, folks, we need to put this to a stop. I don't know how we can do it. We need to do it non-violently. We need to do it at the polls, but we can't just remain silent until November. By November, if it keeps up like it is right now, we won't be a country anymore. We'll be a subsidiary of Iran and China and anybody else that wants to take a piece of this country. So we as Americans can't let that happen. All right, don't let that happen. Protest in a peaceful way. Do what you have to do. Write, call, text. Right? It doesn't. Just as long as it's peaceful. I don't want to see any violence out there. I don't want to see people hurt. We need to do it just like the Michigan people did, calmly, seriously, with lots of signs, lots of horn honking, and tell these people who run these states and run these counties and states and things of that nature that we are not, and I repeat, not going to take this crap from people like that anymore. We need to do something, but keep it peaceful. We don't need any violence and people getting killed and hurt out there. So that was kind of my message for tonight, but I wish we had a media that we could believe. I personally listen to AON. That's the only station that I know of right now that gives you the truth. Fox does when the first 3 hours every night. I think those three are pretty good, and I think the stuff on the weekends is pretty good. But the daily stuff, I think it's a little tainted now. They're leaning a little farther left. So listen to OAN. Get it on your computer, or however you can get it, and watch that. And in closing, I'd like to say that I still love this country. It's still the best country in the world. It always will be. I hope we can do it. We have to save it ourselves. But God bless our president. And I would just like to see someone in the media and during one of these afternoon press conferences to just stand up and look at the president and say, Mr. President, how are you doing? Are you getting enough sleep? I know that you're worried about this. I know you're trying to save our country. But we just all want to know how you're doing personally. I think that would give that man so much energy. I mean, he's got so much now, and none of us can keep up with him. But that would give the man some real energy. So, maybe we can say a little prayer that maybe somebody will have the guts and the nachos to stand up and say, Mr. President, thank you for the good job that you're doing, and how are you doing? So in closing, God bless the United States of America, God bless our president, and God bless the people in this country who love it and don't want it to change into a communistic / socialistic little state. I don't think many of you would like it. So God bless, and I will talk to you next time. Goodbye.